What's up, everybody? So we're back on the shop with another Shop Talk Tuesday, and this is the last week of time that I have to get stuff finished for the Texas Select event that's happening on the 6th and the 7th. If you're in the Austin, Houston area, make sure you come by that event. Come by and say hi. There's going to be myself plus a lot of other knife makers. There's a bunch of Forged in Fire contestants and champions that are there. You're going to have, you know, Jay Nielsen. You're going to have David Baker. You're going to have a whole bunch of people that are there. My person who makes my hammers, he's going to have his booth there. So if you want to scoop up a hammer, he's going to be there as well. Two Bastards Forge, which is also the actual sponsor for our channel. So yeah, you should definitely come by and check out my table, his table, all those tables, and say what's up to the Forged in Fire judges. Now, I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff finished up, and again, that's the reason why we're not doing a build for last week's Shop Talk Tuesday or this week's Shop Talk Tuesday, but I am focused on getting a bunch of just stuff that needs to get done, and we're at this point where I've got a whole bunch of knives. I've got a bunch of these that I need to get the handles profiled on. I've got some smaller EDCs. I've got handle material that's got to get finished up and cleaned up so that it can get put on the knives that it goes on. I've got some awesome looking stuff that's going to go on those, and I'm going to have these knives all with me at the actual show, so make sure y'all come by again and check out some of the stuff that I did behind the scene. Some of these are going on Damascus knives, some of them are going on regular knives, so we've got a lot of stuff happening within that. Now, one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this video was really what I think about doing the whole show thing. Now, I know that a lot of people are debating on going and having their own or going to a show and having their own table, be an exhibitor at the actual show that they're going to. I'll tell you, one of the things to think about is what you're going to bring with you and what is going to easily be able to be sold. So my first show that I ever went to, which of course it was Blade Show Texas, so I kind of went out the gate and went a little bit ridiculous, but I brought a lot of my custom builds, which were great. They were great talking points, and they were things that attracted people to the table, but not many people purchased those. A lot of people bought my EDC camp knife sized knives. That was the thing that I sold the most of. Now, did I sell a few of the cool builds? Yes, I did, but out of the 12 knives, only like a couple of them were that. The rest of them were EDC camp knife sized, and I do sell a lot of those. So it's just thinking through some of the things that you want to bring with you. A lot of EDCs, a lot of camp knife style, you know, those knives that people can carry with them. Those are going to be pretty easy to sell. That's why I focus so much on making those for their show. I've got a bunch of really cool builds to work on with the Shop Talk Tuesday builds and things like that, and it would have been cool to finish those in order to bring with me, but again, they would be more talking point knives. They'd be more discussion knives than they would be purchased knives. So I focused a ton on knives that were like this size and this size, so that I could take stuff down there and it be something that someone could easily EDC or take with them. And then also think about sheaths. Now, some of my custom builds that really need leather sheaths, I'm not the best sheath maker, and I would prefer to price the knives so that someone can go and have their local leather worker make a sheath for them with like their initials and things like that. So I'll actually take like $80 to $90 off the price of the knife just so that they can use that extra money to go and get a real cool sheath made for that specific knife. I'm not very good at making leather sheaths. I can make them, but they take me way too long because I overthink them, I overdo them, and sometimes I'll have 10 plus hours in one leather sheath just because I overthink all of it. A Kydex sheath I can make pretty quick, but I don't want to do a Kydex sheath for some of the custom builds because it'll scratch the finish that's on them, and a leather sheath wouldn't do that. So that's my thought process on that. But bring knives that people can easily use on a day-to-day basis. Make sure you have sheaths for those knives, because my first show I only had a couple of knives that had sheaths for them, and I would have sold twice the amount if the other ones would have came with sheaths. So something to think about there. I know some people are going to say you don't sell a knife unless it has a sheath. Well, whenever you're trying to finish a whole bunch of builds getting ready for a show, sometimes you don't have time to make a sheath for every single thing. Or if you're like me and you overthink leather work, you don't have time to do that. I don't have, 100 hours worth of time to make 10 leather sheaths for these builds and all that stuff. I need to finish the knives, and I need to do YouTube, and I need to do all that other stuff. So there's just a lot that goes into it. Now, I do plan on doing a lot of practice within leatherworking. Once I get the shop kind of changed up a little bit more, I'm going to have an actual leather station, and I'm going to get that process down. That's one of those things that I feel like I need to work on. I've been focused so much on forging and forging techniques that my next evolution might be the leatherworking side, and just practicing leatherworking and get myself more efficient at that. Because now I can forge a knife just as fast as my power hammer can forge it, sometimes faster, because I'm super comfortable with that and super confident with that. And I didn't start that way. It was something that I had to work into. So that's one of those things that I need to work into, but I need a station that's set up for it, that has all the things, so that I'm not fumbling through stuff trying to figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. So something that I need to work on with myself as a knife maker. But it's just one of those things where you think about what you're going to bring with you to the actual show. I do suggest that you bring a couple of pieces that are going to be those talking pieces where people are going to want to actually talk to you at your table because they see this cool thing. My World of Warcraft knife is a huge talking thing. People love looking at that. I'm actually going to put that in for the art knife category for the awards. But that's one of those knives that everybody looks at and goes, wow, this is beautiful. But realistically, would they carry it? No. It's a collector's piece. And that's one of those items that it's like, it brings people to the table, but they don't buy that. They end up buying something else. That's one of those things that you want to have. You want to have a few of those knives. And I plan on having several of those, plus all of my knives that are easily purchasable. So that's kind of like the plan. And I would tell you, if you're going to set up your table, try and do it with elevation. That's something I have not got completed yet, but have it set up to where some of your knives are up or have an elevation so that it brings people's eyes up a little bit, or also bring people's eyes down, because some people are just scanning, and if they see something that you have that's right here, it's almost in their eyesight, it will bring them to you so that they can look down at your table. So it's just something to think about there, something that I'm working on as I'm doing this. Now, of course, this is only my third show to exhibit at, but I've been to several shows in the process of getting ready to do this, and I know what stands out to me, and I've talked to other people on what stood out to them, and that's kind of the advice that I'm giving you right now. So it's just something to think about there. I would also suggest that you just go and exhibit at a show. Even if you think your stuff isn't that ready for it, go to a show, show the stuff, especially if you have a local show that's only like a $65 table or something like that. Go to it, let other people look at your stuff, see what they think is awesome about it. Sometimes you need people to tell you that your stuff looks cool for you to have the confidence to be able to do that more. That is one of those things. A lot of people are their worst critics, and they'll think that their stuff does not look good, and then they'll show it to a few people, and people are like, holy crap, this is cool, this is awesome, this is epic. And it makes you go, maybe I am doing the right thing. Maybe I am making the right decisions within this knife making thing. So put yourself out there, don't be afraid to do it, and go to a show and display your stuff. I think that that's a good thing for people to do. And that would be probably my main things when it comes to people actually deciding whether they're going to do a show or what to bring with them. Again, just put yourself out there. Also, think about EDCs, camp knife size knives, stuff that's easily carryable, even if it's like a small little 3-finger knife or something like that, or a bunch of neck knives and stuff like that. Just bring what you can. Make sure you have sheaths for them, and then see how it goes. That's one of the things that I had to do to figure out whether I wanted to do this or not. And I would also tell you this, a lot of this is prep, making sure that you have the things set up in line so that you can actually complete everything to have it for the next show. For me, if I was just doing shows, I would always have inventory. But because I have my website, I also sell through my website and I sell inventory as I'm going through. And if you're wondering, again, theriversexperience.com. Definitely go on there, check out some of the knives. I'm going to have some of these listed before the show, so if you wanted to actually get a few of them before the show, go on there, scoop them up. Now, it's one of those things where you have to make sure you have enough knives to be able to go to the show, so you have to get back in the shop. Once you finish the show, get back in the shop, make some more for the next show. You can finish that show, get back in the shop, make some more for the next show. It's easier for a person who does it full time, but just kind of start chipping away at it so that you have inventory for the next show and have yourself set up for that so that you can bring enough knives to be able to make it make sense for you to purchase the table. Hopefully that's helpful. If it is, let me know in the comment section down below. It's just a little bit of simple things. Now, what I need to do is get all of these finished so that we can actually do that. I've got some Damascus knives in the acid, getting the finish put on those so that I can end up getting handle material put on them and everything like that. So that's what I'm going to work on for the rest of today and the next several days. Wish me luck, guys. That's the end of this video. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there, and I'll catch y'all next time.